Hey everyone, welcome to Nurse Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're reviewing episode 5 of the final season of Clone Wars, titled With a Trace.
With a Trace, yes.
Alright, so we officially start the second story arc of this final season, which we believe there are 3.
I believe so, yeah.
Could be 4, but we think there's for sure 3.
Yeah.
And this one is definitely revolving around Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. A little bit about her background after she left the council.
Yeah.
Where she ends up, what she does. So very exciting that way. A lot of people are looking forward to this arc to see, what happened between Clone Wars and Rebels. Get that little bit of filler.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's also a book, but I'm not sure if that actually fills in before or what part of her life that fills in. If it's before Jedi or whatnot. Yeah, so a little bit more background on Ahsoka now, which is exciting.
So we do know that some time has passed since we last saw her at the end of season 6 until now, because her Liku, I guess you can call it, is longer than it was before.
Yeah.
The one on the back, you used to have just the 2, and now it's like the one on the back is much longer. Yeah. So she's definitely, it's definitely some time has passed. She's definitely older. Obviously has no more lightsabers because she left the Jedi Order. But also is, I guess, in hiding. She doesn't want to use her Force powers.
That's right. She doesn't want to let anyone know she was a Padawan or anything like that, or has Force powers or anything. So
that's right.
Trying to be.
So before we go into the details of the episode, overall, great start to the next arc?
I think so. I think it's a typical beginning, showing, the new relationships that she's building and stuff like that. So it's just the beginning story of it. But I enjoyed it. I think it'll get more and more as we learn. She might open up with these other people or meet some new people and go into a little bit different time frame. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I agree. I enjoyed the episode. I don't feel like it had that wow factor, that hook that the first episode did of the first arc. Yeah. Like, oh, Echo's alive. What's going on? Didn't have any surprise or wow factor. But I mean, we are kind of first time kind of meeting up with a fan favorite character and kind of see what she's been up to, and we kind of get familiar with where she's living, how she's living, what's going on right now.
That's right.
So if we dig right in, she's basically on the run. We see her on a speeder.
Not a lot of sort of like a secondhand speeder. Not a lot of credits to her name.
Yep.
Kind of living on the low end, trying to stay under, the eyes of other people and just being a regular person, so no one looks twice at her, kind of thing.
Absolutely. And then she gets into some speeder trouble, and then we see some like quick thinking and maneuvering, definitely some Jedi reflexes, and managing this speeder bike that's kind of gone haywire.
Yeah, like jumping on walls, jumping off, other speeders and stuff like that, and then figuring out a way to land it and crash land it. Yeah, the typical Jedi crash landing of they crash it but they walk away from it.
That's it. So she ends up right at the doorstep of a mechanic, a pilot / mechanic, which is lucky for her. This particular female's name is Trace. So they kind of meet, and she's like, you're lucky you landed at my doorstep. A mechanic, I can kind of help you fix that stuff. And she's like, I don't have any credits. So she's like, well, you can use my shop and fix it yourself, kind of thing. But,
Yeah.
But we run things on credits here. And then she also drops a bomb saying that they're in level 1313, which is a huge Star Wars Easter egg there, because that was the canceled huge Lucasfilm game before Disney bought the Star Wars license that George Lucas was making canon as part of the story, which was going to tell the story of Boba Fett. And during this particular level, which is very dangerous, it's rife with bounty hunters and a bunch of like the underbelly, and it's a very famous level. At the time, it was going to be canon as this kind of special origin story of Boba Fett. Yeah. Not origin story, but like his beginnings of a bounty hunter and stuff like that.
How he became the Boba Fett we knew in the movies.
And the episode arc earlier with her and Asajj Ventress, they were not 1313. I think they were 1312, or they're like 1200s, but they were close.
Yeah.
And so this is like the floor. So I'm kind of interested to kind of see where we go from here. Are we going to bump into Boba?
I think they might be able to make 2 arcs. So that's why we think it may be 4 arcs, maybe not 3, where they might do 2 in 1 arc, where they, Ahsoka meets bounty hunters, and one of those bounty hunters might be Boba Fett and other ones, and then a little bit backstory of Ahsoka, as well as maybe some other bounty hunters that we come to know.
Absolutely. So it's very, very exciting that they're, shedding some light on this area. And we kind of get right into Ahsoka trying to fix her bike, and the girl's like, do you need some help? She's like, no, I'm going to handle it myself.
Yeah.
Because then
especially if you're not going to charge. Yeah, because she kept. So this Trace is kind of like, oh, I want to charge you, but I kind of want. She's kind of really nice and just kind of wants to help people, even though
Yeah.
in this level it's not quite that type of people down there. So she's kind of one off. And that's why she kind of wants to get off. She's trying to rebuild a ship to make it fast enough that her and her sister that we meet later on can get off this, part of the planet and live a better life kind of thing. So this definitely, she's not the typical person that would probably be seen down there, but is making do with what she has, I guess.
And Ahsoka lets something go that I didn't really even think twice about, but it makes sense. So she says, like, why are you helping me? And Trace says, well, is the right thing to do, right? Like, it's kind of like humane thing. And then later on, Ahsoka basically flat out says, like, I have issue. Like, I don't understand people. I don't get people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's an interesting line. And if you think back, traditional Jedis are taken as babies. Not taken, but basically they find the Force sensitive babies. They reach out, and the parents are generally willing to give them up for the better life of becoming a Jedi because that's like the honorable, everyone wants to become a Jedi kind of thing. So if the child is Force sensitive, then the parents will definitely allow them to take the child and raise them their whole life in the temple. So they don't know who their parents are for the most part. They don't have any connections. Yeah. And they're raised as young children, as younglings up to Padawans. So Ahsoka's pretty much been in the Jedi Order her whole life.
Correct.
So all she knows is the Jedi way. This is the way of life. This is how we behave. This is how we act. So the average person, good, bad, evil, she just assumes like if you're not a Jedi, then you are the corrupt, or you are the evil. You're
That's everyone she's seen. Everyone that's not a Jedi has been a droid or a separatist or something.
Have ulterior motives and stuff like that. So like
even her old best friend who betrayed her, or a good friend, betrayed her, and that's how the separation began. But
exactly. And so like, there are people who are good, who are Jedi, who are just trying to get by, who do have good morals like I would have, and then there are people who aren't. And so she's funny. She's like, well, what do you want to know? People, some are good, some are bad, and it's what we are. It's the way it is. So it's an interesting little like open your eye moment kind of thing, eye-opening moment there. Understanding that the Jedi life, while everyone is like, wow, that'd be great to be a Jedi and go through the training, it is seclusion, it is isolation. You are losing your humanity from this perspective of like your socialness.
You don't really interact with anyone other than a Jedi.
You just know the Jedi way, and that's how you behave, and your whole life revolves around it, and that's it. And that way is right. You don't know anything other than that.
Yeah, so it's not like they really go out and socialize with other people or even with each other. It's very, Jedi manner and topics when they socialize.
So it's very interesting for that comment to come out. And so she's trying to build this relationship with Trace, but she's not 100% sure if she can trust her yet, and kind of what her motives are. She's looking for that backstabbing, that kind of like, I'm in it for the money, I'm in it for something. And so there comes a point where she needs a part, and she asks her if she has any parts and how much it'll cost. And she goes, the only parts I have are in my ship, which I need. So Ahsoka kind of like walks away in defeat and walks out, I guess, try to figure out what to do, and is looking at the ship. And then this Trace decides to fix her bite pro bono.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of like at awe of like that this person's just willing to just meet her and help
something
her.
For me.
And so then we see something happen where someone kind of just walks in, and they're looking for her sister, Rafa, who is basically owing these goons money for something. And so they kind of come in and they're asking for the money, and obviously Trace doesn't have it. So then Trace tells Ahsoka, don't worry, I'll handle this. Grabs like a pipe and just starts trying to hit them on the head a couple times, and then they actually take some swings and hit her in the face. Yeah. And after the scuffle, she's pretty much going to, bite the dust. She's like, okay, I can use your help. Ahsoka jumps in and just takes them out, man. And there's no lightsaber, no force powers.
No force power,
just Krav Maga, kicking, flipping, and just taking them out. It's phenomenal. Definitely.
Remind me of breakdance fighting.
Yes, doing
like
some
moving, flips, kicks, punches, headbutts.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. And but still hiding the fact that she doesn't have any force powers or that kind of training. And then when Trace asks after she's done, it's like, where'd you learn that? She makes a comment of, from my bigger brother.
My older brother, which is
Anakin.
Anakin. And then so they go off looking for her sister, and they end up meeting her, and she's obviously stealing some stuff, and she's kind of the shady person. She's
someone that kind of fits in on that level.
At that level that Ahsoka expects. And it's funny because they're sisters. She sees this one girl who's willing to help a stranger without anything, a great moral fiber, versus her sister who's on the shady side.
Looking for any dollar or credit that she can, any deal she can go.
And
legit
Ahsoka,
or not.
and Ahsoka even asked her, like, do you get your own way? Do you get to do your own stuff? And she's kind of like, well, she's my big sister, and she's kind of like got her, she's looking out for us, kind of thing. And Ahsoka kind of sees like, okay, so there are good and bad people, but it looks like the evil kind of still corrupts, still kind of rules, and she's not wanting to be part of that stuff. So anyway, we kind of go on. There's some dealings. Some guy shows up, a male Twi'lek shows up to work out a deal with Rafa. Basically, looking, he's told that they are expert at making droids, and so she basically promises to repair and fix up these droids that he needs for a good sum of money, and then looks to her sister and says, "Yeah, you're up for doing these droids, right?" Like pretty much just offers
you're
her help.
the mechanic. You can build.
You can do
create. You've done it in the past, kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're off. So Ahsoka and Trace are there repairing droids. Then Ahsoka has a little bit of experience with droids, being fighting them in the Separatist War. So while they're putting them together, she makes mention to make sure you put that restraining bolt on before you power it on, because these guys can be pretty nasty. And they talk about like her past, and then Ahsoka powers hers up after putting the restraining bolt, and sure enough, it scans her. And then she's like, "What kind of droids are these again?" And they said it's
destruction.
Destruction.
Demolition droids.
Yes.
Demolition droids.
And so, well, first they were considered lifter droids, loader droids, but their secondary function was to be like these destroyer regular droids or whatever, and they were used, secretly as these ulterior, violent droids. And so it saw Ahsoka and then instantly went to go attack her.
Yeah.
And so luckily she had the restraining bolt and she shut it down. But I guess when it had swung around or whatever, it must have hit one of the other droids, because while they were talking, the other droid wakes up. And Ahsoka's like, you put the restraining bolt on, and she didn't. Yeah, so it just takes off and starts running through the streets, smashing things. Yeah,
demolishing stuff and just causing mayhem throughout all the streets,
Yeah, so at this point, they're on a chase. They got to get this droid back for not only for the person, but to stop the destruction. So they go on this crazy, they get a speeder bike, they get their restraining bolt, tracking beacon, and they got to head off to get this thing. And so you get some close counters where it's coming after them. It starts running through, destroying stuff. They kind of catch up to it. It runs at them towards their ship, jumps over them, starts causing havoc. So they finally get close enough to use this contraption, this clamp, sort of like a forklift clamp type thing, to grab it. And it ends up turning around and climbing a wall, and it ends up lifting the ship
them up. Yeah.
So they're like hanging on for dear life, and so Ahsoka tells her that you have to
detach from it.
Yep, and you have to hit the blue button.
Jumps on, and she's like, you have to hit the blue button to deactivate it.
So Trace is climbing on, and Ahsoka's there, and she, I guess, is trying to go up because it's climbing the wall, trying to go up to the next level. And while she's on it, she's hanging on for dear life. The droid comes face to face with a child, and she manages to just deactivate it before it causes any harm.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's there, but then as she deactivates it, the droid starts to fall off the wall
because it's no longer working. Gripping.
And in Coruscant, there's really huge pits, right? You don't really have floors. There's thousands of levels, stories high. So she's gonna fall to her death. So Ahsoka runs up. Tries to clamp onto it, but then of course the weight's still causing the ship to go, so she runs out, attaches a cable, and I'm like,
winch,
okay.
And then
each time I'm thinking she's gonna use the force. She doesn't. She's trying to stay hidden. She uses the winch and then activates the winch, and then I guess there's still too much weight. It starts to give way, so she has no choice but to use the force and start pulling them back.
Finally pulls it up,
and then a little Twi'lek child notices.
She's the only one that notices her doing it because everyone else is focused on. The droid, speeder bike and droid, I guess, and so she's pulling it back and then pulls it down and kind of settles it in.
Jumps up, Trace, you okay? Trace is fine. So they get the droid down, they attach restraining bolts, and then they have a conversation with Rafa on whether they should give these droids back to the person or just destroy them because of how dangerous they are. This can be used for evil, whatever. And so there's a conflict of morality of, should we take the money and let him do what he wants with it, or should we destroy these droids? And so the bigger sister says, don't worry, I'll handle it.
I'll do the right thing.
I'll do the right thing. And the younger one just says, be smart about it or whatever. And obviously Ahsoka doesn't trust her, knows that she's not gonna get rid of the droids. So they all meet up at a restaurant. Ahsoka and her are having a conversation, and the older sister arrives and basically says that, we got the money.
I ended up selling it for double.
Yeah, I charged him double
for it.
And we got more money, and so but don't worry, you'll have enough to buy our tools, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like this is what you needed anyway. And so the younger sister begrudgingly takes it, and Ahsoka makes a comment to her about like, at what cost? Like, she's taking care of you and stuff, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And so she's like, aren't you sticking around? And she says, I can't be a part of this. Yeah, it's not worth it for me. I gotta go. And then Trace says something to her. I can't remember what it was, but she makes a comment to it.
She says, let's go work on your bike together and kind of work on it, fix it.
So they go, and and they do fix it. I
No,
can't
so
remember.
they just walk away.
It cuts there,
ends,
right?
Yeah, it ends at them walking
Yeah.
away at the
So
restaurant.
an interesting situation. They're setting up morality because Ahsoka's whole world's been turned upside down with the whole Jedi Order. Everything she believed to be true, the way she was raised, to turn their back on her essentially, betrayed her. Basically looked at evidence that wasn't true evidence, but it seemed to be like that she was a traitor and didn't even hear her out. Being part of the Jedi Order, being part of one of them, do you think that they would give her the benefit of the doubt? But they didn't, and so she was betrayed. And so she's like, her whole life's turned upside down. Who could she trust? Who could she not trust? What's real? What's not? Who's the right? Who's in the wrong?
Yeah.
We know that Trace has some feelings about the Jedi. The people on this level believe the Jedi started the war.
Bad, yeah.
They're all they're the people who are causing the war and want to destroy things and take control. And she's like, no, like they're the ones that are trying to stop it. They're the good guys. Like they were forced into this, and but some people, they look at them as being like Nazis essentially. Like they're coming in and they're forcing their way.
That's right.
So it's an interesting concept. So while she is a Jedi, or she wants to like impart the truth, but at the same time stay hidden. So she's kind of struggling with that, as well as struggling with right and wrong, and
who she can trust, and what's happened in the past, and what she thought was real is not always what's real. Who she thought she could trust, she couldn't trust. Pretty much everyone she's trusted in the past has turned their back on her at one point or another and betrayed her. So she has a lot of trust issues.
Absolutely. And so I think she wants to have a new friend in Trace, but doesn't want to have anything to do with her sister, and knows that because they are sisters, that this is going to be a hard bond to break. Or maybe she senses that there's going to be an issue between them, and she doesn't want to be a part of it. She doesn't want to be the reason that they split up.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be a situation where something's going to happen, and the sister's going to have to choose sides, and maybe Trace will go with Ahsoka, or maybe Ahsoka will reveal that she's actually not.
It used to be
she's her sister, but she's not really a good person, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I enjoyed the show. I'm excited to see what we're gonna go from here. It definitely set up some roadblocks kind of started to pave the way of where Ahsoka is gonna go.
Yeah.
But we don't really have any real expectations they can go anywhere with this at this point, right? We just know that she's a scrapper. She's on her own. She's definitely can take care of herself. She's trying to find a place in life.
Yeah.
But
she still has that little. In the past, she always saw someone and wanted to help them.
Yes.
And so she still is showing that a bit with trying to help Trace and people down in that area and stuff. So she's still showing that and showing that she wants to help the little guy and try and she stepped in right away when those thugs came in and said, I back off right away, and kind of stepped up, and Trace is like, no, I told you I'll handle this, stay out of it.
Yeah.
So she's still showing that because that's just built into her the way she is. But yeah, I mean, this episode was not really exciting or nothing really important happened, but it's just paving the way, like you said, to the further arc and stuff like that. So.
Yep. And the other Easter egg was Lothcats made their appearance again. So we had it in Mandalorian. Now we're having it back in the Clone Wars. Rebels, connect everything together. Dave Filoni's hands are on everything. So it was really cool. They were there, jumped on the table where they were eating and stuff and left. And so, we know that, Ahsoka appears in another show. And, there's some stuff there. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where they end off in Clone Wars. How far from Rebels are going to be from her. And kind of where she goes. Is she gonna get her white lightsabers at the end of this? Are we gonna see that?
She will. I think she'll see her get how she builds it
and like fix it. That'd be really cool for us to physically see it.
I'm pretty sure she battles Maul.
Is it Maul?
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Because I think in the preview, correct me if I'm wrong,
but Maul has one saber and she has two, and she doesn't have any sabers right now.
Yeah.
So she can build one from scratch, but she needs a crystal. So if she's gonna take two Sith sabers, because Maul only has one.
Yeah. But I think she battles him with saber, so I wonder how she gets.
I know. I'm very.
I have to rewatch that trailer.
Unless she still has her saber. No, but because in the trailer they were blue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see where we go from.
Definitely, and how she builds them and how she gets them and everything, because everyone's kind of wondering in Rebels when she shows up if she has the lightsabers. How she got them? Does
she happen upon Maul killing some Jedi and pick up their sabers and fight him with it, and then she become hers?
Yeah, we'll interesting to find out. But I mean, there's lots of stuff that they can go into in this arc. So they have lots of background that they can cover, lots of story that they can cover. So that's kind of threw me off that there wasn't more in this first episode. So maybe I was expecting too much. Because I thought they could, spread it out in 4 episodes or whatever it may be, but try and get as much in each episode. But maybe they'll just jam pack the last 3 or 2 or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's our thoughts on the episode. We really enjoyed it. Some cool Easter eggs. Definitely some expectations of what we like to see going forward. But let us know what you think. Drop a comment below. What was your favorite part of the episode? What did you not like about the episode? What special Easter eggs did we miss that you caught? Let us know. If you'd like to support us, click that subscribe button. Hit the like button. We definitely appreciate your support.
Definitely.
And as always, friends, stay nerdy.